Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being with us here today. Today's a BackStory podcast. I am honored to bring you up. You know what I try to do? I try to bring you people that I think you would be interested in, and especially to tell you their story of how they got there, because I know the group tends to bring in people that are teachers and healers in their own right. So we really like to tell you things that we think you'd be interested in, and especially about how people got started, how some of these things work. Today, I get to share with you a little bit of my sister, one of my wonderful, not my biological sister, but certainly my sister. We've known each other for a very long time. We've shared a lot of things together. She was there. She was actually one of our hosts at the very beginning of the Virtual Life broadcast, almost 25 years ago, more than 25 years ago. We actually did a couple of these at her house. And today I'm very honored to bring you a very special guest. She does some incredible work called Heartsong. We're going to talk about it. Mary Jones. Mary, hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Steve. I'm doing really well.
Yeah, I remember that we came in, we did some of the virtual live broadcasts. We packed all these people in the front room of your house that time. God, I think we did it 2 or 3 times, didn't we?
We did two, and we packed 50 people in my living room, and they were in the foyer. They were all over in chairs and sitting on the floor. It was amazing. It was such an honor to do that, and such a fabulous experience, and to have all those light workers come together to join in the experience in the physical. That was amazing.
It was very magical, very magical. And we broadcast it live. That was some of the first times we broadcast the video live was through there. Or maybe it was audio live. I can't remember, but I think it was audio at that point, wasn't it? We were still doing
No, we
some
did
audio.
video.
Did we do video? Okay.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible. Anyway, we had some.
It was tricky. I think trying to stream it. I think
It's always tricky.
you sorted it out and you got it done. So
that, that I have technical karma sometimes. I know it's just part of the deal. That's part of what we do. So anyway, you have been doing some magical work, and I want to share it with people and tell a little bit about what you're doing. You have this incredible voice that you've. I don't know whether you were born with it or whether you developed it. I'd love to hear a little bit of the history of how you got started with Heartsong, but you do healing concerts for people, and you've done them in different parts of the world, particularly in Holland and Belgium. We've crossed paths a lot of times. We haven't actually worked together for years. We did once. I think we brought you over in Holland, I believe, for one of the places in Elspeth that we did. One of the incredible times together. But we've had some wonderful experiences, and I really want you to share a little bit about what you do. How do you describe this to people?
well, that's very interesting. Maybe I should start with how I got started with it. Ever since I was a little girl, I loved to sing, and I used to climb to the very top of this one tree that was on the border between my house and a neighbor's house, and I would sing to the sky. And I thought, I can sing as loud as I want away from everybody up there. Nobody will hear me. Or whatever. And then as I got older and I was high school age, I had some friends who went to a Pentecostal church, and they said, "Hey, you want to go?" And I go, "Okay." So we went, and they have a lot of fun. They did in that church, and someone would speak in tongues, someone would interpret, and they'd sing and have a good time. And they said, "Do you want the gift of the Holy Spirit?" A high school kid, you kind of go, "Okay." Everybody's doing it. So they gathered around me, and all of a sudden I could see this amazing, brilliant sun over my head and this beam of this brilliant light streaming down um, through the top of my head and through me. And it was the most amazing experience it's hard to describe. And then, they said, okay, we'll start speaking. And then I opened my mouth and a few funny words came out. I said, oh, and I didn't know what to do with that gift. I would enjoy it, in prayer and meditation. It just felt beautiful and connecting, but I didn't know what to do with it. So for years, it kind of, was in the background. And life happens. I got married. I was an operating room nurse. And so I was doing that and I started having kids. So you're busy with the job, with kids, with the house. And then as years went by, I told myself, there's more I'm supposed to be doing here. And so I talked with the spirit and I said, put me to work. I know I'm supposed to be doing more here. And of course, everything changes, divorce happens and you move locations, all these things happen. And I thought, what gifts do I have that I can offer? And I thought about this gift. And so I started working with it. When my mom passed away, I had some inheritance money, so I bought my house in Escondido, and that's the one you can do first broadcasts from.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And I opened what I called Felicita Growth Center, and I hosted seminars and workshops and ceremony, anything to do with spiritual growth, personal growth, and self-empowerment. And I had some amazing people, guests come through to give workshops and seminars. We had sweat lodges here for a while. I would have these informal meet the artist evenings. So I'd have people like Peter Sterling, who does the harp, and Ken Davis, who does a relaxation, spiritual music from Australia. They would come and they would perform here in this big living room, couches and snacks and drinks. And then it was a nice informal evening where they could get to know the artist and have a good experience. I would host channel circles for people who were just learning to channel, and more experienced channels would attend. Those are powerful evenings, and talking circles and Tai Chi, all kinds of things. But during those times, when we were sharing, especially in the channel circles, I started sharing this light language. And I didn't know what to call it, so I started calling it Heartsong, because to me it felt like it was from the heart to the heart and connects you with your heart. And then people would, react so beautifully, and they said, you need to keep doing more of this. And so I got these, that just from source, and I add energy work to it, had singing and toning and later overtoning come in. And so with the experiences I had being an RN and being a Reiki Master, just to the side, I used to volunteer at one of the hospitals here doing Reiki, oncology floor and ICU. And beautiful to see the blood pressures come down, the pain levels come down. So it was your energy work. And then I was encouraged by Lee Carroll to make a CD. So I went to visit
Lee Carroll, the Channel of Crayon.
Channels.
For those of you who don't know it, yeah,
right, that's right. And so I had visited my friend who up in Berkeley, California. Her name is Cynthia Sue Larson. She's this amazing woman who's grounded with a business degrees and physics degrees, an extraordinary channel and intuitive coach. And she's one of those people that you feel like you've known for lifetimes.
Yep.
And so I talked to her about this, and she had met a sound engineer person in line to get coffee. And she just struck up a rapport and invited him to her birthday party. And that's what I was there for. and she introduced us, and we cooperated on the first CD, Heartsong CD, and he does sound engineering, but sound healing also. And he just put his hands on the keyboard, and I just opened my mouth, and we did this, and it came out really nice. He did it with the solfeggio frequencies. Different songs would have the different frequencies, so that was lovely. I went to Lee Carroll's event in Sedona, and I sold enough CDs to pay for my airfare, Steve, to come to your Human Angel Congress in 08. And
wow.
they're Henning and Mary Una were hosting, I believe, at that time. They just said, let's set your booth over here. So I sold some CDs. And then you invited me to get up in front of everybody, and I did a little bit of heart song for everybody, just 2 or 3 minutes. And I'll tell you, after I did that, people approached me. So on lunch breaks and evenings after the day was done, I did 11 private sessions.
I remember you kind of disappeared for a while, but we had to figure out where Mary was because you were doing private sessions. That was wonderful.
Yeah. So we all enjoyed the events of the day, and then between events and after hours, they would come see me. And that's when I started getting invited to people's homes and healing centers and churches to offer heart soul. So that's how I got started in Europe. I got invited everywhere. And most of my hosts I've known since then for many years. They're like family. And watching their kids grow up, and then they learn to speak English better so I can actually talk with them.
Most people in Holland and Belgium do speak some English at least. We've been very fortunate to go over there for many years, and wonderful people. And matter of fact, I'm very much in touch with Mariana. I just talked to her this morning. So yeah. So
Yeah.
wonderful people. And Danielle, like you mentioned. And oh my God, you mentioned Cynthia Sue Larson. Oh,
Yeah.
we've incredible lady. We published one of her books back in the days when we were doing publishing. It's just magical work. So yeah, you're part of and of course Lee Carroll. You actually live fairly close to where Lee was living there for a long time.
I did. They're like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
And then, and
Barb and I lived over the hill.
You did. I
Yeah.
look at your house. Oh, we'd have such great times at your house. Yeah. And then also, I've not met Jim Self personally, but I follow him, Mastering Alchemy, and I've gotten a lot of wisdoms from him. And so it's this extraordinary family of spiritual family that we're all connected. And I feel, especially now, it's really important for us to come together and form that sense of the community.
That's why we're doing these. That's why we're doing these podcasts. Absolutely.
Right.
Bring that, connect everybody, and shows how most of the people have no clue that how connected we all are. But most of us know each other, and most of us connect with each other on a fairly regular basis. And you've always been you've even been part of my biological family. Most of when I come to town, we usually have these big gatherings at the beach, and Mary's always there. It's just like you're part of the family. So it's been magical for a lot of you.
I remember one time you guys all got together for a big camping day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And well, you guys were so upset with me because I borrowed your car keys for some reason. I forget what it was. And then I came back and I said, I'm so sorry. I was losing the outhouse and I dropped the keys. And yeah,
I was really upset. About that. Yes.
I said, and before I even said, I said, you guys love me unconditionally, right? And the look on your face, oh my gosh. And people knew I was going to do that, so they're watching you guys. And so I'm just kidding.
You had me going. You had my blood pressure up. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's part of what we do to each other is we play jokes on each other. So, so I've been a nurse all my life. I started out as an operating room nurse and then went into case management and catastrophic case management, and then I worked as a discharge planner, case manager at the hospital in Encinitas for 14 years was the last RN job I had. And I did that per diem so that I could be gone 1 or 2 months a year and do my concerts and things over a year. Cool. I go to, Holland, Belgium, East Germany, Istanbul, Oslo, Norway. I went all over the place. And I love doing it. But, I've got, the Reiki Master. I'm also, I had the doctorates in metaphysics and metaphysical healing. Thank you very much. And so I feel that with being an RN with the critical thinking skills and with being able to connect to source in this very heart-centered, expansive way, I've got a foot in both worlds. So it was a good bridge for people who just learning how to. And I tell people, your brain, your mind, your beautiful instrument, you need it to survive in this 3D world and get along. It's great. And you also have this beautiful set of other tools that are in your heart. So you can connect through your heart in an expansive way, expanded way to senses that are outside of our senses we use here on Earth. And get your guidance, get more connected to your higher self, your guides. For me, it's a matter of walking in harmony and wholeness more here. So bring more of your spiritual aspects here on Earth and walk in wholeness. And so you don't have to have your mind versus your heart. Let them move together in wholeness. And that's one of the things I encourage when I'm doing the Heartsong concerts and sessions.
Awesome. I had no idea that you had gone to Istanbul. So you went with Jadam?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, good. What a sweetheart.
Yeah.
One of my daughters.
Gee, it was amazing. The people I met were extraordinary, and I still keep in contact with several of them.
I've been in contact with Jadam. We still talk once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Angela, she's
an interesting lady.
She's part of a big yoga center over there. Okay, so tell me, because before we started talking, you started to tell me about this dream you had or experience you had when you were sleeping.
Yes.
Tell me, because people are interested in how this was kind of catalyzed in you. Tell me that story. Tell me what happened there.
When I started saying, to source took me to work, and I started the Growth Center, and I started going over to Europe. Actually, Steve, I did some of the Heartsong in Kona in Hawaii in one of your seminars.
That's right. One of our seminars in there. I remember that.
And and so I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd feel this presence in the room. And then all of a sudden I would be hit with this huge jolt of electricity that would hit me all over my body and scare the heck out of me at first. And then it would ease off, and then I would see hundreds of symbols coming in, hundreds of symbols floating in. And then it would happen again, and then it would be hundreds of these geometric figures that would come in. And then another time it was all these little signs of light, different colored light. There was all different kinds of things that were being downloaded into me. And over time, the electrical sensation got softer and softer, where I didn't feel it so much anymore. But then I'd all of a sudden become aware of this, symbols coming in, like when you're just waking up.
Yep.
And I would get those. So I feel like they were adjusting my body to carry this energy and downloading me with this information. And it was extraordinary. And so when I would be doing these concerts and things, but then people would ask me to do for different things, like Wendy, another friend over in Holland. took me to
No, Wendy.
these caves, and I think it was Maastricht, that they had all these caves where they used to do mining, and they had bars over the entrances because people would go in and get lost and die. And then nearby there, I just felt led to uh, anchor these energies into the earth. And so as I'm doing the light languages, I would see this beautiful bright grid of energy come, and it would dimple down, and it would come and it would anchor into the earth. But off to the side, I see these lights leaving. And I got that I was releasing souls in that area. So lots of interesting things happen.
Was that in Belgium?
That was in Maastricht, which is
Maastricht? Okay. Yeah, I know it's right on the southern part of Belgium, or southern part of Holland, rather, right at the border.
Yeah.
Beautiful old city. Beautiful.
So
they had
lots of experiences of all kinds like that.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's kind of how you got to be careful asking spirit to show you the way. Sometimes they will open doors and kick you on the backside until you go through it. Yes. All of a sudden your life changes very quickly.
Yeah.
I know.
I was ready for it. I really was ready for it. And I told myself my mantra is I want to meet and exceed my highest potential to facilitate the best and highest good of all that is.
Awesome.
And to be, to be the best teacher, healer I can be, facilitating healing, knowing that I co-create sacred space with people in Source, where they come together in communion with Source, and they have their experience, and I'm the facilitator, the witness, and the space holder for their experience. So when someone gets a healing or has an amazing experience, I say, job well done. Look what you can do.
Good.
And I remind them that they can continue to connect that way from here on forward.
Perfect. So you told us a little bit about how you do the concerts. Tell us about your private sessions. I know you do private sessions, and you've done quite a few of them, especially in Holland and Belgium and probably East Germany. Tell me a little bit of what that entails. What does that look like? Do you get tired of singing all day long? Do you go hoarse after a while? How does that work for you? Tell us.
The private sessions are very special. It's one-on-one. I have done group sessions before in the past. I'll get into more of that in a minute. But for private sessions, we're opening a sacred space. We have a meditation, but we'll start with opening the heart. And I always tell them, you can bring an intent into the space if you'd like, but be open to whatever else Source wants to give you. It's the old ask for a tree when Source wants to give you a forest, that idea. And so the light languages change depending on the person that I'm working with. And again, there be 2, 3, sometimes 4 different languages, 4 different energies coming through. And they show me people as pictures of energy. And they're moving my hands in your energy field. And as I'm working, I can see, darken areas get lighter and smooth out, and your light gets bigger. It's like your aura gets bigger. And I know that they're working on DNA. They're working on all kinds of things, interdimensional. It's this living, breathing, evolving Source energy that is coming through for that person to work with. So they'll hear the light language spoken, sung. I do toning sometimes. Sometimes the toning comes very intense, and people tell me it helps them break up blocks for them. Overtoning, and of course all the energy work. And I've had healings happen. I had one person who he was an older man with horrible back pain, and I saw his x-rays, and they were pretty bad. So I had him sitting in a chair, and I was working in a circle for him. And as I'm behind him looking at his back and I'm working and working, I'm seeing him twitch and move like this. I'm going, okay. I go, I'm trusting. You just do what you need to do. And it's like 90% gone, his back pain out.
Amazing.
So the different people get different things done. Some people have past life healings. One woman was a shaman in a past life, and she was tortured and so forth. So she was able to work through that and release that. All kinds of things happen. I had one man who told me after his session that he was an exorcist, but he worked on land masses, and I never had heard of that before. But he told me that, and he said that he had had a bad experience where part of his heart was erased away. This cold spot, and it was very disturbing for him for a long time. And during the session, he said it got restored, and he says, I feel it now. He says it's warm and it's beating, and I have to get used to it again. And I got the information that what had happened was his original template got overlaid, and it corrected and restored him.
Incredible.
So a lot of times I don't fully understand the process, but I don't require myself to, as long as what I do is I love that person. I unconditionally love that person and hold space. And I commit to be a clear and open and pure channel for source energy to come through for their best and highest good. And so all different kinds of things can manifest in a beautiful way.
Awesome. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah. I understand a lot of the things you're talking about. I experienced a lot of that myself, especially in the beginning with the group, how that works. Mary, how long are your sessions? Tell us a little bit about that. How long do you normally take with a person?
They can last for as long as the person needs it. And typically it's anywhere from 3 to a little over an hour, or even just a little over an hour. One exception was that woman who was the shaman in the past life. She had a hard on it, and she took 2 hours. Self-pacing. There was an exception. So that's about how long they last. And again, it's when people come to me or other modalities, which are just as beautiful and effective, the key has to fit the lock. And when the key fits the lock and they're open with open heart and ready to receive, that's when the magic happens. And I get to witness. And to me, that's such a privilege.
That's great. Yeah. I do know the feeling.
When I do concerts, I do music, most of which I composed myself. And I sing, and then I sing also without music, a cappella.
And you play the piano too, right? You play the keyboard?
Well, when I'm in channel, it's too hard for me to try and play piano or keyboard and channel. So I record the music, and then I play, and then I sing to it. And of course, the light language is different every time, even though the melody was just recorded.
But most of it is actually you playing it, though, even the recording.
Oh, yes, it's all music that I composed and recorded.
Channel the music.
I open with a meditation and get people to sit and get centered in their heart in the total present moment. And then I start the concert. And then sometimes I'll stand in front of my microphone and things, and I get in front of people, and then I just blast it like a giant group session. And if the group is smaller, I'll go to each person and do a little bit for each person individually. And then at the end, I usually have people toning together. And that is amazing when you feel the energy of people toning together. You get the chicken skin.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And then by the end of the concert, you can hear a pin drop. Nobody claps. It's like,
you've described this whole thing. why don't you set it up a little bit? I've got one of your recordings here. I'd love to play it for people so they can hear. It's about 3 minutes long, but why don't you set it up with a little meditations and let people experience a little bit of your magic? How's that?
Okay. Sounds great.
You got it.
Okay. Okay. So everyone get comfortable. Sit in a comfortable position, or if you want to lay down, whatever works for you. And I want you to focus on coming in totally into the present moment. Start putting away thoughts of the past or things you need to do later today. Just set that aside for now. That will be waiting for you when you're done, not to worry. And I want you to take a big, deep breath in. Hold it for a second. And then breathe out. And I want you to visualize breathing in and out of your heart space. And as you take your next breath, I want you to visualize this beautiful sun over your head and this beautiful light streaming down into your body. Breathe it in. And as you exhale, it goes to every cell of your body, every aspect of your being. Goes down even to the earth, grounding you to Mother Earth. Breathe in again. Hold it. Feel that energy.
I almost hate to break the silence, but we're out of time. Mary, I have thoroughly enjoyed having you here today. I know you're going to be heading over. Tell people where they can find you, how they can contact you. I know you're going to be heading over to Holland in October, I think it is. So tell us a little bit about how people can take the next step and connect with you.
My website is www.maryjonesheartsong.com. You can email me. There's a lot of resources on there. I have links to Instagram where I put up inspired writings. I have Facebook. I do a lot of announcing of events there. I have a SoundCloud link where I've uploaded several light language channelings just in a moment for people to access if they'd like. So you can email me at my website and ask me what events are coming up and when and where. I'm doing them locally here in the San Diego area. October, I'm heading back again to Holland and Belgium. And I'm lining up concert hosts that are going to host me again, plus new ones, and just coordinating where I'm staying, where the venues are, and getting from, A to B locations. So all that's getting sorted out. It's like this beautiful tapestry of goodness coming again. So, if anyone has any questions, please contact me, and I'm very happy to answer any questions. I have 3 CDs. There's the first one with the sound healer in San Francisco, the Saveggio frequencies. The second CD, the music you heard is one of those tracks. And that's all music that I composed and sung to. And then the third CD is a shamanic Heartsong CD I did with a beautiful Dutchman who's also a shaman. And that one is amazing, and you can hear samples on that. You can purchase songs either by track or CD, whatever you'd like. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and we'll sort it out one step at a time.
Perfect. That track, by the way, was called Deep Calm Sea. It was my favorite. That was my personal favorite. So thank you for sharing that with everybody. I appreciate it. Mary Jones, I love you, my sister. You've done some incredible work. Keep up the great work. Thank you for touching everybody the way you have, and thanks for being on our show today. You're an inspiration for all of us. Aspavo, my dear, I love you, and we will dance again very soon.
Absolutely. Aspavo.
Thanks. That's all we have for today. Aspavo, everybody. We'll be back with the BackStory podcast coming up very soon. Aspavo.